All right, guys, so this is going to be the MetaTrader 5 walkthrough. We're going to go over kind of how to use the app, how to take a trade, some simple things. There's important things as well that you need to understand. Risk management, number one, risk management. Number two, how to calculate pips. And number three, of course, how to simply take the trade without, blowing your account or anything like that. We don't want anything like that happening. So quickly, just to go over the app, MetaTrader 5, the bottom left, you have your quotes. So these are all the different kinds of pairs. You could also go and search a symbol. You got Forex majors, right? Forex minors. There's all different kinds of pairs. For example, if you guys are new, it's going to say what the pair is. So for example, AUD, JPY, Australian dollar to the Japanese yen, right? For example, again, Euro USD, Euro to the US dollar, GBP USD, Great Britain pound to the US dollar. So basically what that means is that when the chart is going up, that first pair is gaining strength over the next pair. And when the chart is going down, the second pair is gaining strength over the first pair. So it doesn't necessarily mean a chart is going up, that's good, a chart is going down, that's bad. It simply just means that's the price comparison of the first pair to the second pair. So this isn't like crypto, the higher the price, the better. It's not like that. You could buy and you could also sell, right? There's also a bunch of cryptos as well that you could leverage trade, which people don't know. Let me go over this real quick. You could leverage trade Bitcoin, crypto.com, Ethereum, Chainlink, all these different kinds of cryptos where when the markets are tanking, you could actually sell crypto, right? Without actually owning it, right? It's very, very, very powerful. And then they have, indices and all these other things as well. Gold is a very popular one right here. It'll pop up automatically, XAUUSD, which is the one that we're going to look at. But let's stay over here on the left just to make it simple. If you guys want to clear this up, go to the little draw symbol up here. Remove the pairs that you don't want. For example, I only want gold, and I only want my GBP USD and GBP JBY, for example, just to make it simple. There's also another section up here to make it look a little bit more clean if you do. For me, I just like it like this. So simply, this is your watch list. Simple as that. Do that first. Organize it so that it's only, 3 to 5 different pairs. You don't want to overwhelm yourself. Then on the next page, you have chart. So this is where you have the exact chart. I'm going to remove these indicators too. So on this chart, you're going to see all different kinds of lines and all different kinds of, up and down and, things going all over the place. Let me remove this right here at the top right. Let me remove that. First thing, chart simple up here. You have the time frame. So this time frame right here simply means that every candle, which, for example, that blue is a candle. This blue, candle. Candle, candle, candle. This white, candle, right? Each one of these singular candles is the time frame that you put it on. So for example, rule of thumb, go off the 1 hour. Don't be going too crazy with it. 1 hour, the 4 hour, that means each of these candles is 4 hours. The daily, each of these candles is 1 day long, right? After the day's over, a new candle forms at 5 p.m. Eastern, right? For example, you could go all the way down though to 15 minutes. Right? You could go to 5 minutes. You could go to 1 minute, depending on the kind of trader that you are. But to make it simple, just look at the 15-minute, the 1 hour, the 4 hour. Don't overwhelm yourself crazy, right? The next thing that you want to do is you want to hold down on the chart or just click it. Oh, double tap it, my bad. Double tap it and it's going to have a couple options. So if you want to take a trade, you can click trade. We're not going to do that right now. We have indicators. We're not going to do that right now. Objects. You could add like lines if you want to, make it simpler. Add support resistance lines if you wanted to. Objects. Not going to do that right now. What you want to do is you want to go to settings. Simple. This is very important. For me, these are the kind of settings that I like, right? I like the candlesticks. You could change the kind of chart. You could play around. You could see volumes. You could see period separators. I like to have this one on, and I like to have the ask price on. So the ask price is very important because it's going to show the difference between the price that you're getting in and the price that you're trying to cover the spread in. So the price line is important. That's the spread. Stop loss, TP levels. I mean, just have all these on. This is just my opinion. The next thing is have colors, right? Go to your colors and change your colors to how you want them to be. So you can play around with this. The grid, I keep it black, foreground white, bar up. So for me, I don't like to have, you know, green good, red bad. Even though if it goes up or down, it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It just means that that other currency is stronger, and I can make the same amount of money if it's going down or up. So for me, I like to have blue up. So when blue's going up blue, bar down white. That's just personally me. Your automatic effects are going to be green and red. So I put bar down blue, bar up blue, my bad, bar down white, bull candle blue, bear candle white. So whatever your bar up, have it as the bull candle. Whatever your bar down, have it as the bear candle. That's just the way I have it. Next thing would be bid price and ask price. So that's going to be your spread. Again, where you're buying in versus, you know, the actual price versus the broker price. So that's important. For me, I have a green and red. I don't know. I mean, that's just the way I like it. I just like to have that. And I like to have, you know, the stop levels as red. So, it's, you know, the stop loss, take profit, etc. As red. That's just the way I keep it. So if you could change it to how you want, and all these are going to change. So for example, all the whites are down, all the blues are up. And then if you go in really close, you could see a little blue, a little red line, a little green line. So those are your ask price and your buy price. They're a little bit bigger on other pairs, so it's very important to know which one you're getting in. And to know if it's too big. Sometimes the spread's too big and you buy in. When you guys buy into a currency, you're automatically going to have to cover the spread. So for example, on gold, the spread's very small. I mean, you're not going to be in, you know, crazy spread. I think it's like maybe 1 pip or 2 pips. So honestly, I'm not 100% sure. I'll do a test trade here for you guys as well. But do the colors. Have that there. I like to have the period separators, these little white lines there as well. That's just me. Then you have this button up here. This button just kind of lets you scroll around and click and have like a representation of how many points is from this point to this point. You know, you can play around with it. There's a couple other things in here, indicators, objects. You could add a line right here, boom. You know, that's like a support line, and then you could add another one. Boom, or resistance line, simple. So you could add objects once you get good at marking up charts, you could, you know, focus on that, do that. The next thing I would say is, let's go to this bottom one. Right here at the trade section, it's going to show your trades. It's going to show this is the balance. For example, this is a demo account actually that I have just for the sake of being able to trade without, you know, going crazy on it. But it's going to show USD balance. This is what it looks like when you're not in a trade. Balance 10,000, equity 10,000, free margin 10,000. Right, simple. That's how much you actually have that you could actually trade. But we're going to go into that in a second. Or actually, that's equity. That's how much the equity is, how much you have that's not being used in a trade right now. So that's trade. We're going to show you what that looks like when you actually take a trade. History is going to show here. For example, it shows that I just opened up this account a couple minutes ago, $10,000, etc. It's going to show profit, swap, commission, balance, all that stuff here as well. This is your history. And then the bottom right, that's the settings. So here it shows, you know, I got my account here. You could click on that. You could add another account, etc. There's a couple other things here that you could look at. I don't really spend too much time on the settings. For example, let's take a trade, right? So this is how you guys take a trade, right? So for example, let's say I want to place a sell on gold. There's one of two ways that you could do it. You could double tap the screen and press trade. From there, it's going to have market execution, buy limit, sell limit, buy stop, sell stop, all these different kinds of ways to being able to get into the market. The simple one is market execution. I guess I could go over that too on this call. That was a weird alarm. But okay, for example, XAUUSD is the pair. You could change the pair to whatever's on your watch list. And then you would enter over here your stop loss. You could also enter your take profit. And then over here is your lot size. So for example, let's say I'm looking at this chart and I want to sell it. So I want it to go down and I want to put my stop loss somewhere up here so that it stops me out and I don't blow my entire account. So for example, let's say I want to put it at 33.90. So that's right in this area, right up here. Obviously, you could mark it up and, you know, do more due diligence on it, but 33.90 right here. For example, on gold, that's 300 pips. It's a lot, right? So for gold, it's more advanced. If you do not have, you know, maybe at least $500 to $1,000 in your account, don't even touch gold. Realistically, not, you know, no less than $1,000, don't even touch it, because you're gonna have to at least run into $50 in drawdown. Worst case, you know, to be able to, you know, really keep up with gold. So for example, 3,400, let's just say 3,400, make it simple. So up here, 3,400 is the stop loss and my take profit is down at 33.30, for example. I would double tap the screen. I would do, I actually forgot the take profits, but let's just do 3,400, take profit 33.30, did I say? Something like that. What I would do, this right here in the middle is very important. 0.01, super important. This is how much money you're going to be in the market for, right? And it doesn't go as a dollar amount. Oh, I'm gonna put in $10, I'm gonna put in $100. It doesn't go like that. It goes per pip. So the way that this works, write this down. A 0.01 is 10 cents per pip that you're making and also risking. Mind you, that stop loss that I put on gold is 300 pips. So the minimum on this gold trade, which I'll show you like a GBP trade after this, but the minimum on this gold trade for 0.01, 10 cents per pip, 10 cents times 300 is $30. That is what you're gonna be risking. More or less. You see these numbers are changing all the time. 33.70, 3,400. The difference is 300 pips. 1 pip of gold is the first number after the decimal, 0.1. I know it's moving quick. You don't have to be perfect with your entries, all this stuff. Sometimes you got to be quick with your entries though too. When you're trading a pair that's a volatile like this, we're gonna go over a slower pair after this. But when a pair is moving this quick, you gotta be careful. But this is 300, so 300 pips, and the take profit is 33.30, so that's 400 pips. So rule of thumb, you want to have your take profit more than your stop loss, so that even if you only win half of your trade, you're still profitable. So 0.01, 0.1 is $1 per pip. So do the math on that. $1 times 300 pips. For example, whether that's a take profit or a stop loss, $1 times 300 is $300. Right? You could do a 0.2, $600, a 0.3, $900, and so on, right? But I'm just going simple. 0.01 is what you call a micro lot. If you're starting off under a $500 account, use micro lots. Don't even do anything else. Use micro lots, right? A 0.1 is what you call a mini lot, right? $1 per pip, mini lot. And a 1.0 is a standard. This is big boy money, $10 per pip. That 300 pips times $10 is $3,000. Winning, or that's your risk, and the win is 400 pips, so $4,000 is the win compared to 3,000. So just to put that into perspective, you could also drop a 10.00. That is going to be, $100 a pip. So we're looking at, $3,000 or $30,000 risk to make 40,000. This is just an example trade. You could make the risk to reward a 1 to 2, a 1 to 3, a 1 to 4, 1 to 5, meaning you risk $1 to win 5, or you risk $100 or 100 pips to win 500 pips. You know what I mean? This is a beginner training video. I don't know if you could drop a 100. I don't think you could drop 100, but that's how it works. Standards. Don't stay away from standards unless you have 10K in your account. Stay away from mini lots unless you have at least a couple thousand or 1,000, and stay away from micros, or not stay away from, but do micros if you have anything less than that. For example, let's take the sell, right? You would put the 0.01, boom, congratulations. It would make a sound. I don't have the sound on here. It would make the sound, and automatically you'll see right here, TP, your TP line. You'll have your sell right here. This is where you entered the sell and your stop loss. So if the chart hits that stop loss, you're automatically out for those 30 pips. If the chart hits your take profit, you're automatically in and you won, and your trade is automatically taken out. So where the trade is right here, boom. So right here, all numbers are fluctuating. Things are going crazy. You're going to start out negative, guaranteed, because there's a small little spread of a couple pips. So again, 10 cents a pip, you're going to be, starting out 30 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents down. So you see this is moving pretty quick. Again, a very volatile pair. If you wanted to modify the position, you would hold down on it. You would click, if you want to close it, you could click close. If you want to modify, you click modify. And then you change the stop loss, or you change the take profit if you want. Now, another way you could take the trade is, again, this is for beginners, so don't get too overwhelmed. Another way you could take the trade is over here on the top right. You could click that. Now, here is tap to trade. You got to be careful, because if I accidentally go and touch this, it's going to ask you to acknowledge if you want to have that on or not, because it's very, very, you got to be careful with it. If you press sell, boom, I'm in. I don't know if you guys saw that. Let me go back. Let me place a buy. So you see those two little red arrows? Sell. So let me place a buy. Ready? Boom, blue arrow. Right? And these are all mini lots. Right? Place a sell. Boom, red arrow. You see the little red arrow? It's all moving within each other. But now I'm in multiple trades. Look, one of them is in profit. The buy is in profit. Right? So the thing about this tap to trade, guys, is that you don't have the stop loss set yet. So what you got to do the second after you buy or sell, you go to trade, and you modify it. Modify the position. Look, no stop loss. Put in that 3,400 that you have there. Well, not 3,700. 3,400. Right? For the buy. Right? You got to modify for the buy. Let's say for the buy, modify position. You have to modify these, because if you do not modify these, and for whatever something happens to the market and the market goes berserk, you could blow your entire account. You could also make, tens if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, but you could blow your entire account too. Stop loss on a buy is going to be under 3,374, so it's going to be, for example, 334. Boom. So the buy has a stop loss down here, and the sell has a take profit down here. You see a little SL TP. You can also adjust them by pressing down. Let me try this one. There's so much on the screen right here. Boom. Tap the stop loss. This is the sell. Let's say I want to make the sell stop loss higher. Make sure you're calculating the extra pips and how much more you'd be risking. But let's say I want to bring it up from 34.00 to 34.10. That's 100 pips. Not 10. It's only $10 to the gold, but it's 100 pips. So if I do that right here, it's going to show to close it, or you could press stop loss, take profit, or you could press arrow to confirm. No, wait, no, that didn't work. Stop loss to 34.10. Oh, maybe I'm messing up. Huh. Arrow. Okay, boom, there you go. And it'll have you modify it and confirm that change, right? And everything's gonna change there. Now, if you want to close the trade, look at this. Boom, we're already up $1.52. Right, it's moving very, very slow. Now, for example, if I go and trade a 0.5 on a buy, did that just put me in? Look at that. That 0.5 is down $10 off rip, because you're dropping 5 mini lots. Right? So for example, look at that. Look, I actually dropped 2 by accident. Look at them. Look at them. That's crazy. See, look at this, down $100, right? So you got to be careful. Just like that, if you have $100, $200 in your account, it's gone. You see how fast and volatile that is? That's a 0.5. That's why you never do anything. You never over leverage. This is what we call over leverage. All right, let's see if it'll pull in some profit. There you go. Okay, no. Okay, so if you want to close, simple as that. Swipe. Look, let's close this one in profit. It'll say close. Boom. Swipe. Close. Or I think there's you could just hold down and click. I think there's a close. I think bulk operations, close all positions, and it'll just close them all. And look at that. Boom, hey, we actually ended up with some profit. So for example, 10K, the profit $3.78, and we're at $10,003.78. So that's just a little example how fast, how volatile the market moves. It's going to show your history right here on the arrows of when you bought, when you sold. For example, it's kind of crazy because we did it all in 1 minute, or all in 5 minutes with like 6 different trades. So that's just that. Remember guys, 0.01 is micro lot, 10 cents a pip. 0.1 mini lot, $1 per pip. 1.0 standard lot, $10 a pip. Micro lots under 1,000, right? You could put it up to 0.02, 0.03, 0.04 if you feel comfortable, right? 0.1 over in the, you got like at least 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 in your account, right? And a 1.0 you drop in standards, you got to at least have 10K. That's just because we don't want you risking more than 5% in a trade. Yes, you could go and do what you want and risk 10%, risk 50% of your account, but as people who are teaching you and trying to have you actually succeed and want what's best for you, the best, smartest way to do it, the smartest strategy you could have is, let me risk 5% in a trade. So if I have $100, I'm risking $5. If I have $1,000, I'm risking 50, and I have 10,000, I'm risking 500, right? No more than that. You could do more if you want to make more. There's a lot of people, I've seen people flip. For example, one of the partners in our company, they flipped 1,000 to 10,000 twice. I think they were up $17,000, right, off $1,000. But that's also because they know how to trade. They know what they're doing, right? So you have to be very careful and very smart, right, when it comes to this. What I would say, guys, understand the risk management, understand how to take a trade, understand the lots that go into it, understand how the chart works, and then go into our community on the Telegram. We have an entire boot camp teaching you the strategy that we use and the strategy that we recommend. This is a very basic video, how to risk your money, risk management, how to use MetaTrader, walkthrough video, all this good stuff. If you want to learn the advanced, right, if you want to really, get into it now, rewatch this video if you have to. But if you really want to get into it, message me, message the person that sent you the video, and say, hey, I want to get involved with the TSK bootcamp, I think it's called. Right, we have a whole module teaching you the strategy, all that good stuff. But this is a really good video to start with, guys. How to use MetaTrader, how to take a trade, risk management, right? The lots, how to calculate pips. Actually, for example, GBP USD. Let's do that right now. GBP USD, right here, you see there's a red line and then a green line. This is the minute chart, so it's very close. But the pips on, for example, a regular Forex pair, not gold, is going to be the 4th number after the decimal. So if you look closely over here, you'll see 0.3307 right now. That red one, it's right there, 0.3307. Right, that 7 is 1 pip. That 4th number is 1 pip. Right, the green 0.3305 now, that 4th decimal is 1 pip. So to do the math, you look at this, and you look at that, and you do the math difference. For example, this is exactly 3 pips. Exactly 9.6. Look, 3 pip differential, meaning if you drop 10 cents a pip, you're down 30 cents. If you drop $1 a pip, you're down $3. $10 a pip, you're down $30 to start. That's just the spread to that you have to cover. And I guess I'll take a trade here. Did it work? Maybe I did something wrong here. Oh, there you go. Boom. But let me just put a bunch of buys in. Okay, it's only put in a couple of them. But two of them, right? For example, as you can see, this moves a lot slower. I think we caught a trade today. We actually did catch this trade from up here. Nice break right here. We got in around 33555, and it went all the way down to a TP, which is around 330. So that 3350 to that 3300 is 50 pips. Only 50 pips. You guys saw with gold, it was 500 pips, 300 pips, right? That it was moving very quickly. This is the 30-minute chart. This is the 15-minute chart. So pairs like GBP USD, USD JPY, GBP AUD, all these different kinds of currency combinations that you could choose from, right? They move a little bit slower. So that's a good place to start. Very, very, very good place to start. You know, if you guys start with gold or US30 or Bitcoin or something like that, you're going to need a lot more capital. But if you guys do not have a lot of capital, or you guys are just beginners, start, for example, GBP USD. Start with a small pair that doesn't move as quick, right? Where you could risk the 30 pips and only risk $3 on the smallest lot, right? That's getting your feet wet. That being said, I hope you guys got some value from this MetaTrader overview, stuff of that nature. Click the links in the bio and get set up with the broker, set up with the Telegram, set up with the Discord, set up with our exclusive Whop community as well. Make sure you guys are tapped into the chats. And again, if you guys want access to the bootcamp videos, the strategy videos that we use to trade so that you can learn how to become a self-sufficient trader yourself, click the link, get set up with the Whop, tap in with us, DM me on Instagram, whatever you got to do, get plugged in, start trading with us, right? We have some big plans coming as well. And we're on a mission to build a lot of self-sufficient traders like we've been doing for the last 5 to 10 to 15 years. So with that being said, I'm going to catch you guys on the other side. Peace.